Today we are talking about predictions. 2022 is right around the horizon, and as we come to the close of 2021, we want to discuss what we think is going to happen next year. So we're going to read off a bunch of questions about some people's questions about our thoughts on where the market's going to head next year. So question number one is, what is your top prediction for 2022? My number one prediction for next year is going to be, I think 2022 is going to be the year of the condo. Remember I said it, the year of the condo. I think the condo market's going to come back. I am not saying it's going to be a seller's market by any means for condos, but I do think high-rise has been struggling for, almost 2 years now, and it's unnatural for big buildings and condos to have such poor sales, and I think next year is going to be the year they come back, and I think it's going to be the year of the condo. I think they're going to have a moment. We're going to start seeing the confidence build back in there. How do you determine what your predictions will be? I look for patterns. Like right now I'm seeing that three huge portions of the market, out of state, in town, like empty nesters, and international buyers, make up a huge portion of the buyers for condos. And I've seen 2 of the 3 of those markets come back. I'm also then looking at the fact that rentals are at an all-time high. They're 5% higher than history. And a lot of the people that are renting are younger would-be first-time buyers, and they rented last year because they were too nervous about COVID and what would happen with the marketplace. And I think when they see that, hey, I got a 20% discount on my rent October 2020, and now my rent might go up 25%, and it's going to be ghastly cheaper to buy than it is to rent, I think those people are going to be pushed into the buyer's market. And then you look at the fact that, downtown Manhattan, other big cities, their condo sales have come back. So I look at these and I take an educated guess, and I think I'm going to be spot on, to be honest with you. How did your predictions do for 2021? I mean, my biggest prediction for 2021, I dubbed 2021 at this time last year that I said it would be the great migration back to cities. And I compared it to a Game of Thrones, that people, Daenerys' army would invade the city, and it would start on the outskirts. And I said by the end of the second quarter, it would get to the heart of the city, which were the gates, where they'd break the gates down, flood the market would come back, and that's when the road recovery would begin. And I said by the end of the second quarter, I thought the vaccine would be completely mainstream. Well, I think my prediction was almost entirely spot on. If you want to watch my 2021 prediction podcast, it's out there. Take a look. You can see all the stuff we talked about. But most of the stuff that we did say come true would. I think the only one that we were off on is the international market. We said that by fourth quarter, the international market would come raging back. I don't think I would use the word raging back. I would say that we're in the very infancy of it. And this is being shot in November, guys. So maybe December just skyrockets. I doubt it, but it's possible. So, we're still a little bit away from the complete end, but most of our predictions got right. Are you usually right? I wouldn't say always right. I'd say that the reason why myself and, other big agents out there, not just myself, know what's going to happen is that a lot of us are on the front lines. I compare myself to Patton. Patton was at the front of the battle of World War II. He knew how to handle the Nazis because he was the one on the front lines. He was talking with the troops. He was fighting with the troops. The guys who were sitting in their chairs in a different country didn't really have the same sentiment of what to do to win the battle. When you're at the front lines, you could kind of sit there and see what's going to happen. And that's why bigger agents and people like myself that study the market and are in the trenches with the troops, it's easier for us to kind of predict which way the wind's going to blow. You can't tell me what's going to happen in the Chicago market when you're sitting writing for a paper in New York and you've never sold anything in Chicago entirely. You can't tell me you're going to know more than me about the marketplace. And that's why our predictions a lot of times are kind of spot on. What do you expect interest rates to be next year? I think they'll remain low. I do think they'll probably bump up a little bit. I don't think they're going to get crazy, but I don't think, maybe they will. But I'd be surprised if they dip below 3, or if they did, they're going to it would be only for moments. I mean, inflation's really high now, and that's going to bump up rates. And I think inflation is going to continue to rise. So I think interest rates are going to continue to gradually go up in a very, very small step. So I think 2022 we can expect rates to remain low. And I don't think we'll probably see, an American average. Remember, American average is 6.5%. We probably won't see that for a while. What do you think pricing will go for in the downtown area? Up. It can't go down anymore. So it's only going to go up. I mean, most of the city is still up on a pricing perspective. It went up anywhere from 1% to 3%, depending on which area you're in. But there were some bigger high rises that were like, multi-million dollar that, dropped, maybe anywhere from like 2 to 10%. So, I think pricing is going to continue to go up next year, and I think the confidence is going to rise. Where do you think pricing will go for the surrounding Chicago neighborhood? So, like when we're talking suburbs and stuff, I think they're going to cool down. I think the suburb markets have been way too hot for too long, and to me, it just doesn't make sense. And at some point, that's going to soften. And this question is, what do you think will happen in the burbs? I think that market's going to cool down. I still think the suburb market's going to have a great year next year, a gangbuster, phenomenal year. I don't think it's going to be as good as the previous year. And I think people are going to start to kind of cool off on it. One of the reasons I say this is that like a lot of our buyers that like left the city, they rented in the suburbs because they couldn't find anything. And now they're calling me and saying, hey, we want to buy in the city. We went to the burbs. We don't like it. And we're going back to work. Guess what? We're going back to work. So they're going to come back to the city. What do you think the U.S. economy will look like? Tough to say. I don't know. We got inflation rising. We got, all these people are spending money left and right. I don't know when this gravy train is going to end. If I could predict when the gravy train was going to end, I'd have my whole life savings on, one stock and then, pull it the second I knew it was going to drop. But I have to imagine it's going to be good. I haven't heard of any crash coming. But one thing I do know is that a slowdown in the American economy is inevitable. When it will happen, it's like an earthquake in California. It's coming. You just hope you're in the right position when it happens. How do you think the state of Illinois will do fiscally? I don't know. Terrible. We're broke. I don't have the solution to that. I'll tell you what I would do if I was running this state. I'd lock the 10 smartest mathematicians in the world in a room, and I'd feed them almost nothing until they solved the problem of how do we figure out the economy, right? I'm just telling you, that's how we created the atomic bomb that way, okay? We locked the best scientists in the world, and we got them to create a bomb that won us the war. That's 2 World War references, by the way, in this prediction side here. That's what I would do, but yeah, I don't have the answers to that. I have no idea. I got D's in math class. Are taxes ever going to drop in years to come? Absolutely not. One thing I will bet you is that taxes will go up. That's one thing I'll tell you. What are your major predictions for 2022? I think more people will go back to work. I think the commercial market's going to have a phenomenal market. I think we're going to see more people coming in the city. I think that we're going to see a change in the culture of the city in the sense that, I think our crime has gotten out of control, and I think everybody has had just enough of it, and something's going to change there. Whether it be politically, I don't know, but we're going to see that happen. We're going to see the condo sales come back. I think we're going to see the confidence in the heart of the city come back. I think we're going to see something big happen on Michigan Avenue in a good way. I think we're going to see more stores move to the city. I think we're going to see more, energy cars come to the city's limits at least and start producing here. I think there's a lot of good stuff that's on the horizon. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff that's happened in Chicago, but I do think there's going to be a lot of good. Oh, and I also think more and more people are going to start going back to public transportation, which has been down. What do you think the seller side of the market will look like? For us, it's been like a buyer's market forever. 50% of our market is buyers. The other 50%, if we're selling single-family homes, it's a seller market. Or if we're selling condos or something like that in like Lincoln Park or Wicker Park at the front part of the year, it's a seller's market. But I think overall, sellers are going to have much more power as we head into next year. Will more Chicagoans leave Chicago? Yep. I think more people are going to leave. People are sick of taxes. People are sick of crime. People are sick of the politics. People are just sick of everything going on here, and they're leaving. But at the same time, guys, glass half full, there's a lot of people moving to Chicago. There's a lot of people in Indiana and Michigan and Minnesota and these other Ohio that, they're sick of doing nothing, and they're coming to Chicago. So I think it works both ways. What major buyer trends will we see in 2022? I think people are going to want to go back to the basics. Number one on every single buyer's list since I've been in real estate minus the last 19 to 20 months has been being close to public transportation. The fact that people haven't been mentioning that in any of my consultations, to me, it doesn't make sense. And I think location is going to start mattering again. Even though for 20 months, location has not mattered. Meaning that people are like, I could work anywhere, or I could be anywhere for work. I don't think that's a long-term effect. I just don't. You may think I'm an idiot. That's fine. But I do think that location is going to matter again for a buyer trend. When will the best time be to buy during 2022? Well, the best time to buy in 2022 would probably be holiday season of 2022. Mid-January to the end of April are the best times for a seller for a property under $1 million. So, spring starts in January. So we just have to keep that in mind. So if you're looking to buy, those are the hottest months to sell, worst months to buy. But then again, you have the best inventory. You can pay a little bit of premium. So it is what it is. When would be the best time to sell during 2022? Same months, mid-January to end of April. Those are your best months to sell. No doubt. Not even close. Do you think Laricy will keep growing in 2022? Yeah. I mean, we're trying to get another agent. We got to get another assistant because ours is moving to Texas, and I'm a non-WFH type person. So yeah, and I think we're gonna grow at least. I hope another $50 million next year on top of whatever we close this year. Do you have a sales goal for next year? Well, we're definitely not gonna. We won't hit $300 million close this year. We'll probably hit 260, 270-ish. We'll be at $300 million close and pending, but I don't believe in pending. We only can do close. So my next year's goal will be 300. Did you meet your 2021 goal? Yeah, our goal was $250 million. So our goal in 2020, we closed $203 million. As we headed into this year, my goal was going to be to close 250, which is a $47 million growth, which is honestly kind of impossible when we're talking about how much business we're doing. And I thought it would never happen. Everybody wanted me to do 225. So we did it. And it's good that we did. I mean, I think we could have done better, but it is what it is. Any process changes for Laricy plan for 2022? Yeah. We're actually going to change up our marketing strategy with our listings. We're going to change up our website. We're revamping our entire website as we speak. We're adding a new assistant. We're adding another agent. I mean, we're creating new checklists. We're looking at all of our weak spots now to prepare for next year. What do you predict will happen to renters next year? I think the rentals are still going to continue to grow because I think there's still a lot of volatility in the marketplace. I think there's a lot of unpredictability out there that some people want to feel a little bit more comfortable about. And, that's what renting gives you is it gives you a little bit more flexibility. So I do think rentals are going to be good. But at the same time, I think a lot of the people who are renting are going to become buyers. Will Chicago property be a good investment in 2022? I mean, probably. I think Chicago is always a good investment. It's an annuity. So if you like slow growth, then yes. If you like the big swings, then it's probably not the best market for you. Which neighborhoods do you think being hot next year? I think single-family homes in Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Wicker Park, and Bucktown are going to be out of control on fire. I think the condos with big outdoor spaces are going to be out of control. And I think that West Loop, which has been softer in that under $750,000 market because you get a lot of tech guys that buy over there and they thought they're never going to go back to work. I think that's going to get better. And I think the heart of the city, like Old Coast River, North Shreveville, and Old Town, are going to get better than they were too. I don't know if I'd use the word hot. I think they will be hotter than they were last year. Do you see any tax changes we need to be aware of for the next year? No. I mean, next year's a reassessment year. So every 3 years, taxes get reassessed in Chicago, and next year's a reassessment year. So the only thing to know is that, take out your pocketbook and throw cash out because you're giving more money to the government next year. Any new developments you're excited about happening next year? Nope. Everything's pretty status quo. There's nothing crazy new that's coming into our marketplace. I think it's going to be gangbusters. What should realtors be worried about next year? There's always this fear-mongering for real estate agents. So, my clients that are watching this, you're probably thinking, realtors live a great life. But, for the agents watching this, you're always nervous about something, right? There's 46,000 agents in the Chicagoland area. Everybody has got a million different people that know they're realtors. So you're just always fearful just because there's so much competition. I also think, everybody's always out to try to eliminate the realtor. Everybody wants our job to be gone. I feel like there's a bullseye in our head at every single moment, and everybody tells you what a worthless piece of crap a realtor is. I mean, after a certain point, you just kind of get numb to it. But I mean, I think you have a lot of fear. I mean, essentially, they're trying to eliminate showings. So showings at some point, they're trying to do these showings on demand, which I think is stupid, and they never turn out to be anything good. These last-minute showings, it's always a complete waste of time. But they're trying to do that. They tried to do iBuying, that failed. They're now displaying buyer commissions. They think this whole thing's going to change the industry. A lot of realtors are nervous about that because they're not now showing buyers commissions. Who gives a shit about buyers commissions? Everybody knew what buyers agents were getting paid before. So now it's just online and now it's going to change the industry. It matters nothing. So the way I look at it is don't buy into the fear. You adapt to what's happening in the marketplace. Everybody relax and everything's going to be fine. What do you see happening in the Michigan Avenue area? We had the Dina on our Michigan Avenue podcast talking about it, and I think it's only keep getting better. I mean, I know they got a lot of crime and stuff to worry about and vacancies, but I think things are going to keep moving in the right directions. If the Bears leave Chicago, will that impact residential real estate? No. I don't have anybody who buys in the South Loop that's like, I'm buying here because the Bears play there. I mean, I don't want the Bears to leave. Personally, I think it's a power play to get Lightfoot and the city to give them, like, you know, casino developments and things of that nature. I actually don't think they'll leave. I really don't. You know, maybe it's my heart talking more than my head, but I want them to stay. But if they go to Arlington, then, you know, good riddance. Who cares? You know, they'll figure it out. There's a lot of stuff that could be used with that space. What trend should we expect on the commercial side next year? I think the commercial side's going to get better. I mean, you know, with social distancing, offices are going to have bigger spaces and smaller footprints to try to, do the whole social distancing between each other. I think we're going to see more offices come back. You look at New York, they just had a banner year for commercial, and every commercial agent I talk to says they're super busy, even though you do see a lot of vacancies. But I think the commercial real estate's only going to get better. I mean, I wish I would invest in commercial real estate in 2020. That's what I wish I did. What is your team most excited about next year? I mean, honestly, about 50% of our market is the heart of the city. And the fact that market was terrible, like the worst I've seen minus 2020 in my career, we're excited the fact that, like, hey, we might do 300 million closed and pending, and half of our market performed the worst it's ever performed. Like, what are we going to do when it performs better? Like, we're super excited because I think we're going to crush it next year because the heart of the city is going to be better. I don't think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be better year over year. What do you hope to see change in Chicago for next year? I want crime to go down. I want this damn crime, the shootings, the lootings, the carjackings. I want it all to go away. That's what I hope happens. I hope we get our heads together. I hope anybody that's watching this is calling your alderman and writing letters to the police lieutenant telling them, like, let's get on top of this. But that's my main hope to see the city change. Do you have any personal goals for 2022? No, my personal goals are to exceed the year that I did prior and become a better person than I was the year before and become better at business than I was the year before. I think I can always improve. I think everybody can always improve, and I hope next year I learn from everything I do the results and do action for everything that I learned in 2021. And I like to continue to do that each and every year. Do you expect to break another sales record next year? We talked about it. Of course we do. Are you making any changes to your marketing strategy in 2022? Yeah. I mean, I think we have a great marketing that we do, but I think you can always improve. And honestly, here's the other thing is that things change. You know, the way marketing is done changes. The way people, watch stuff changes. You know, TikTok's bigger now than it was the year before. Facebook is not as popular as Instagram. You know, it's like you have to move your business strategies to try to, get in front of more people's faces. So we are in talks to put together a complete game plan. So, we hit 2022 running. Did you get snow tires for your Tesla yet? I did get stuck a lot last year. I did get snow tires. They're not on. But I am excited to be able to drive in the snow. Last year, probably I could actually remember the scariest moment of my life. I will put down for sure is I was on the highway and there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground and I could not drive and I was going 10 miles per hour and everybody was driving past me. I literally thought I was going to die. So I got snow tires. Now I don't have to deal with that. How many parking tickets do you think you'll get in 2022? I'm going to say 50. I'm going to go conservative. I'm going to say 50. It's probably going to be way more. But let's stick with 50. Let's count that. We're going to count that. We'll count how many we get for the year and see if we break the I'd like to be less than 50. But you know what, though? My wife was yelling at me the other day about parking tickets, and she was like, this is such a waste of money. You're such an idiot for just, like, literally taking money and flushing down the toilet and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, we're actually saving a lot of money because I don't go to closings anymore. And I was spending about $30 to $35 a day on parking garages. So 5 days a week, a minimum of $30 to $35 a day. So we saved way more money on parking garages. Although that answer was not good enough for my wife, it was the way I justified how many parking tickets we got. Any new suit color trends for next year? We got a red one. We got a red suit coming out. We'll see how that looks. Excited to see what that goes. But then we just got a bunch of blues. What are you doing to prepare for 2022? we're looking at all of our weaknesses. We're changing our marketing plan. We're updating our staffing. We're looking at things that we can improve on to take advantage of next year. We are pulling half our listings that aren't getting many showings and put them in the pocket so that they come on fresh. We are just knowing that January is going to be busy, is we're making sure that everybody's schedules are cleared for those first coming weeks to take advantage of all the business that's going to come in. So everything we're doing now is preparing us for next year. What are you most nervous about for 2022? If I'm wrong about the condo market coming back, I guess if I was nervous, I'm not nervous. But if I was, and if you're like, you had a gun in my head and be like, what is one thing that I guess maybe you might be on the fence about? I would say, the condo market not coming back. I guess I'm also nervous because we don't have our new staff member yet, so we got to get moving on that. And we need to get another agent, but I don't know if I'd use the word nervous because I feel like things always kind of work themselves out. I'm never a guy that feels like I have a back against the wall. I feel like there's always options out there. So, will you plan any trips next year? Yeah. I was supposed to go to Paris this coming New Year's, but Health Pass, they shut down, made me pivot to go back to Napa. But I'm sure I'll go back to Napa next year. Hopefully I'll go to Paris next year, and that's probably maybe a Florida trip. So I don't take any trips in the first 6 months. First trip, first day off, I go straight from January all the way to July 4th. And then July 4th weekend's the first day off. So it's an intense first 6-7 months of, we're talking 1 to 2 days off all the way up till there. It's pretty. I'd like to see. We should try to have like a challenge, like who could go the longest out there just in general before they take the first day. And remember, guys, days off are before anything before 6:30 on a weekday, anything before 4 on a weekend. I'll tell you, it's tough because even like Christmas season, like my wife wants to go to the zoo lights. She's like, well, let's go at 3:30. I said, I can't go to 4 o'clock. It's a half day if you go at 3:30. So it adds up quick. Describe what you think 2022 will be like in one word. I would probably say, comeback. I'm going to use the word comeback. I think the city's coming back next year. I think it's going to be way better than it was. This year was better than 2020. And I think 2022 is going to be the year of the comeback. That's it, guys. That's all the questions we got today. Let's take a revisit of this after the first quarter of 2022 to see where we stood, what we were right and wrong on. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live. Make sure to tune into our next episode and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks for listening to Laricy Live.